Testing. Okay, testing. Alright, part 1910 120, 29 CFR, chapter 17, September, July 1st, 2009 edition. Appendix E, 1910 120, training curriculum guidelines. Following are non-mandatory general criteria may be used assistant development on site. Developing on site specific training curriculum to meet the training requirements of Title 29 CFR 1920 120E, Title 29 CFR 1920 120P, 7P8 3, and Title 29 CFR 1910 120 Q6, Q7, Q8. They are generic guidelines. They are not presented the complete as a complete training curriculum. For any specific employer site, specific training, the programs must be developed the basic need assessment of the hazardous waste side of the Resource Conservation Recovery Act, or the TSDF, Emergency Response Operation, according to the Title 29 CFR 1910 120 is no but the legal requirements set forth in regulatory text 1910 120. The guidance set forth the presented with a highly effective program in the area covered which would meet and exceed the regulatory requirements, and the other approaches could meet the regulatory requirements. All right, suggested general criteria, definitions: competent mean the possessing of the skill, the knowledge, experience, with the judgment, the performance test task, the activity satisfactory determine the employer, demonstrate mean the showing of the actual use of equipment, procedure, hands-on training, mean the training with a simulated work environment that permits each of the students to have experience performing tasks, to make decisions using equipment appropriate on the job to the job assignment, whether the training is being conducted. Initial training, mean the training required prior to the beginning of the work lecture, mean the interactive discourse of the class led by instructor. Proficiency, mean the meeting of the state level of achievement, the state level of achievement, site specific, mean the individual training directed on operation specific job site. Training hours, mean the number of the hours devoted to lecture, learning activities, small group work sessions, demonstration, evaluations, hands-on experience. Suggested core criteria: training facility. The training facility should have availability of sufficient resource with equipment, site location, performance, dyadic and hands-on training with the appropriate training facility. Should have sufficient organization support staff and servers to conduct training in each of the courses. For training director. Each training program should run under the direction of the training director, who is responsible for the program. The training director should have the minimum of 2 years employee education experience. Instructor should have the deemed competent base for the previous documentation experience in the area of the instructor. In the area of instruction, successful completion of the trainer programs specifically the applicability for the evaluation instructor comms. The trainer, director, and inspector should be required to maintain proficiency competency by participating in continuing education professional development programs, complete with a successful annual refresher course, and have the annual review with the trainer director. The annual review of the trainer director should include the observation, instruction, delivery review of the observations with the trainer and the analysis and instructor class evaluation complete with students during the previous year. Course material. The training director should improve all courses material. The duty of the training provider. Course materials should be reviewed, updated at least annually. Materials equipment should be good working order, maintained properly. All written audio visual material of the training curriculum should be peer reviewed. Technically component competent and outside of the reviewers sustained by university committee. Review should possess the expertise of disciplines of occupational health, industrial hygiene, safety, chemical, environmental engineering, and employee education. Emergency response. One more peer reviewers should be the employee experience of the work activities which the training is directed for the student. The program that's something that the student should include with the assurance that the students is and will be involved with working chemical exposure, likely due to the student possess the skill necessary to perform work compatible with the necessary medical clearances. Ratio student instructor should be not exceed 30 students per instructor. The hands-on activity requirement of the personal protective equipment should have the following student instructor ratios: level C and level D. Personal protective equipment ratio should be 10 students per instructor. Level A and B personal protective equipment ratio should be 5 students per instructor. 7. Proficiency assessment should be evaluated, documented, used the written assessment skill to demonstrate the selective development. The training director, training staff of the assessment demonstrating should evaluate the knowledge and individual skills developed in the course training level, the minimum achievement necessary for the proficiency specified with the writing with the training director. If a written test is used, there should be a minimum of 50 questions. Written test should be the combination of the skill to demonstrate the minimum of 25 questions should be used. If the skill demonstration, if you the task chosen, the rate of successful completion should be fully undocumented by the training director. The content of the written test of the skill demonstrated show relevant and the objective of the course of the written test. The skill demonstrated should be updated with the necessary reflect the training with the curriculum, and updates should be approved with the training director. Proficiency assessment method, regardless of the approach and combination approaches, usually should be justified, documented, and approved with the training director. Proficiency for the overtaken additional course for the supervisor should be evaluated, documented, used with the proficiency assessment method acceptable with the training director of the proficiency. Assessment method must be reflect the additional responsibility borne by the supervisor personnel and has waste operation emergency response. Course certificate 1 documentation should provide each of the student with a satisfactory complete with the training course, but the documentation should include student's name, course title, course date, the statement of the student has successfully completed with the course name of the address of the training provider, individual certification, and an individual identification number of the certificate, list of the level of personal protective equipment used by a student to complete with the course. The documentation may include with the certificate appropriate wall size and lamination card with the photograph of the student above the information which such of the course certificate cards are used with the individual and identification number of the training certificate should be shown on the card. Record keeping. Training providers should be maintained the records listing with the date of the course of the program with the name of the individual course attempt with the name of the student successfully completing each course with the name of the term training with the certificate issued with each of the student successful student. These records should be maintained with a minimum of 5 years after the date of the individual participated training program offered where the training provided with these records should be available to provide upon the student requests the mandated law. Program quality control of the training director should conduct the direct annual written audit with the training program modifications for the draft deficiencies, if any, should be documented and approved and implemented with the training provider of the audit with the program modification documentation should be maintained at the training facility. Suggested program quality control criteria. Factors listed as suggested criteria determining the quality appropriate with the employee health and safety standard, the hazardous waste operation emergency response, training plan adequacy with the appropriate emphasis for the training program, curriculum development, and the instructor training with the distribution core for the material for the direct student with the training should be considered, including duration of the training course, content of the course schedule, and gender of the different training of the requirements of the various target populations, specify the appropriate generic training curriculum. The process of the development of the curriculum would include the appropriate technology input, outside review, evaluation program, pre-testing, adequate, appropriately including the hands-on demonstrating instruction, a method of adequate monitoring with the safety, student safety, progress and performance during the training. Program management, training director, staff, and consult with the adequacy, appropriate of the staff, the performance, delivering, and effective training with the program should be considered. Include the demonstrate with the training director, the leadership, the ensuring quality of the health and safety training, the demonstrate with the competency of the staff, the meet with the demand for the delivery, high quality, hazard waste, employee safety, health and safety training, organization charts, establishing clear lines of authority, clearly defined staff duty, include with the relationship with the training staff of the overall program, evidence of the training organization structure, the need of the training program, appropriate of the adequacy of the training method used by the instructor, sufficient the time combined with the training director of the staff of the training program, adequacy or ratio of the training staff of the student, availability of the commitment of the training program, adequate human and equipment resources of the area of the health, effective safety, personal protective equipment, operational procedure of the employee of the protection of the practices, procedure, the appropriate of the management and controls. Alright, adequacy of the organization, appropriate of the ratio of the time of the the appropriate training, indicated at the multiple site with the program's adequacy. The satellite center with the management and training facility with the CSER and training facility, the resources adequacy, appropriate facility, research supporting with the training of the program should be considered, including space for the equipment to conduct the training facility with the representative of the hands-on training, indicated at the multiple site programs, equipment facility with the satellite center with the adequacy of the appropriate with the quality control of the evaluation program, adequate instruction performance, adequacy, appropriate of the quality control evaluation program, ensure the appropriate with the course evaluation feedback with the updating with corrective action. Adequacy, the appropriate for the discipline, expertise being used with the quality control evaluation program, adequacy, appropriate for the role of the student evaluation to provide with the feedback with the training program improvement. D. Quality control of the evaluation, adequacy, appropriate for the quality of the control evaluation plan with the training program should be considered, include the balance of the adversary of the community or component and outside of the reviewers give the overall policy guidance of clear, adequate definition for the composition and activity of the program, problematic role of the diversity committee with the outside of the reviewers, adequacy of the minimum reports of the advisory committee with the outside of the reviewers, meeting written communications, adequacy appropriate for the quality control evaluation programs, the adequate of the instructor performance, adequacy appropriate for the quality control evaluation program to ensure the appropriate course of evaluation, feedback, and updating the corrective action, adequacy of the appropriate for the discipline with the expertise being used within the quality control evaluation program, adequacy appropriate for the role of the student evaluations to provide feedback with the program, improving the students. Adequacy of the appropriate for the program, accepting students should be considered, included assurance of the student that already possess the necessary skill for the job, and include the necessary documentation appropriate for the method of the program to ensure that the recruits are capable of the satisfactory completing training, review of the compliance with any medical clearance policy, institutional environmental administration support, adequacy and appropriate with the institutional environmental administrative support system training program should be considered, including adequacy institutional committee with the employee with the training program, adequacy appropriate necessarily administrative structure within administrative support. G. Summary evaluation questions. Key questions evaluating quality with appropriate of the overall training program should include the following appraisal program with a clear statement of the program accomplishing the objectives as appropriate facilities and staff available. If they're inappropriate, make the classroom demonstrate with the hands-on training the program provided the quality of the employee with the health of the safety training with the fully meets with the intent of the regulatory requirements. What are the program main strengths? 7. What are the program's main weaknesses? 8. What are the recommended improvement of the program? 9. Instructors instructing according to the training outlines. 10. The evaluating tool current appropriate for the program content. 11. The course material current with the relevance of the target program. Suggested training curriculum guidelines. Alright, suggested training curriculum guidelines. The following training curriculum guidelines are those of the operation of the identified in Title 29 CFR 1910-120 as required training. Issue with the qualification, instructor the training certification, similar with the criteria appropriate to all of the categories of operations drafted in 1910-120 have been covered in the preceding section and not with the drafted in each for the generic guidelines based core requirements training program with the address outline with the general hazardous waste operation resource Resource Conservation Recovery Act of the Operation Treatment Stores of the Disposal Facility Emergency Response. A. General Hazard Waste Operation Site Specific Training. Off-site training course concept of the hazardous waste operation required in Title 29 CFR 1910-120 E. Should include the following topic: procedures, regulatory knowledge, and a review of the Title 29 CFR 1910-120 for the core element of the occupational safety and health program. 2. The content medical surveillance program is outlined in the Title 29 CFR 1910-120 F. The content and effect of safety, safety, health plan with the ones of the Title 29 CFR 1910-120 B4. 2. The emergency response plan procedure that outlined with the Title 29 CFR 1910-38, the Title 29 CFR 1910-121. Etiquette, illumination, sanitation, recommendation, equipment review, the explanation. OSHA have the communication standard with the Title 29 CFR 1910-1200 lockout tags and Title 29 CFR 1910-147. Review the other applicable standard that include but not limited to the construction standard of the Title 29 CFR Part 1926 with the right and responsibility of the employer with the employees with the honor of the OSHA of the Environmental Protection Agency laws, technical knowledge, typical potential exposure for the chemical, biological, radiological, have the type of the human responsibilities, have the recognition of the respond with the principle of the toxicology, information about the acute and chronic hazard of the health and safety consideration, new technology, fundamental of the chemical, have the including not limited to vapor, pressure, boiling point, flash points, and pH, or other physical chemical properties, fire and explosion, have the chemicals, general safety hazards, such but not limited to electrical, have the powered equipment, that have the motor vehicle, that has walking, working, service, have the excavation, have the hazard associated working in hot and cold temperature extremes. You know, the equipment space for the entry with the Title 29 CFR 1910-146 with the work of the practice, the minimum of the employer risk for the site, have the safety of the engineering control of the equipment, any new relevant safety technology, safety procedures, review of the demonstrate with the compliance with the sample, the monitoring, and equipment that may be used within the site monitoring program, container sampling procedure, the safeguarding general drum containing the handling procedure that including special requirement of the laboratory waste pack with the track sensitive way for the radioactive waste. 10. The element of the spill control program, the proper use of the limitation of the handling equipment, and 12. The procedure of the safe, helpful preparation of the container shipping and transport. Method of the communication, including the respiratory protection. C. Technical skills, selection of the use, the maintenance of limitations, personal protective equipment, including with a component of the procedure they're carrying out a respirator program to comply with Title 29 CFR 1910-134. Alright, instruction for the decontamination programs include with the personal equipment, the hardware, hands-on training, including level A, B, and C, with the assembly with the appropriate decontamination limit line with the field activities, include with the downing of the doping of the protective equipment level to demonstrate with the employee's anticipated job function, responsibility, degree required with the potential hazards. So for the additional have the information access of the use of the relevant manuals have the coding system. And the additional suggested item implemented data card certificate with a photo of the denoting limitation level of protection which the employee of the training should be issued with the student successfully completing the course. Attendance should be required at all training modules successful completion extra of the final written or oral examination with at least 50 questions minimum. The 1/3 of the program should be devoted to hands-on exercise. Curriculum should be established for the 8-hour refresher training required in Title 29 CFR 1910-120 E8 with the delivery shift of the course, the directed tour of the area of the previous training with the need of the improvement of the emphasis. A curriculum should be established with required 8-hour training for supervisor to demonstrate competency with the skill of the knowledge provided with the 40-hour course to be the prerequisite to supervisor training. 2. Refresher training. 8-hour annual refresher training required in Title 29 CFR 1910-120 E8 should be conducted with the qualified training provided with the refresher training, which should include the minimum of the following topic procedures. Review the training reading the relevant topics covered in the 40-hour program is appropriate. Review the reports of students on their work experience, up to the development of respect for the material for the covered in 40-hour course, of the review of the training with the provided provisions of the EPA OSHA standard of the law with an introduction of additional subject area as appropriate. Hands-on review the new of the altered personal protective equipment and decontamination equipment of the procedure. The review of the new definite elements of the personal protective equipment. Review of the newly developed air and contamination monitoring equipment. On-site training with the employer should provide the employees engaged with the hazard waste site activation information training prior to the initial assignment of their work area is filed with the requirements for the hazard communication notification communication program, including the location availability written program required with a list of hazard chemical, the material, the safety data. Each activity location of their work of the area the hazard substance must be present. Materials observation may be detected with the presence of the relief of the hazard chemical with the work in the area with the monitoring conducted by the employer with a continuous monitoring device with the visual appearing with the other evidence of the site sound smell hazard chemical being relieved the applicable along with the monitoring device the recorded chemical release. The physical health of the hazard of the substance known potentially present in the work area. The measures employed can take with the help of the particular themselves of the work site with the hazards include the specific procedure the employer has been implemented with the explanation labeling system material safety data sheet with how the employees can obtain with the appropriate have the information elements of the compliance rate for the program include the personal protective equipment personal monitoring requirement of the communication procedure the emergency response with the applicable lockout the employer should provide with the hazard waste the employee with the information training should provide a review or an action for the site of the safety plan as follows names of the personnel alternate responsibility for the safety and health hazards present at the site on the site of the selection for the maintenance limitation for the personal protective equipment site with a specific site. 4. The work practice with which the employee can minimize the risk of hazards. 5. The safety and engineering controls equipment available on site. 6. Safety decontamination procedures established for the minimum of the employee contact with the hazardous substance, including employee decontamination, clothing decontamination, equipment decontamination limits for the site of the emergency response plan include the pre-emergency plan, personal role with the lines of authority and communication. Emergency recognition, prevention, safe distance, place for the refuge site, security control of the evacuation route for the procedure for the decontamination, procedure for the not covered in safety, health plan with the emergency medical treatment, the first aid with the emergency equipment, procedure for the handling of emergency incident. The employee should provide with the hazard waste employee with the information showing the other personnel protective equipment at the site with which the following personal protective equipment energy upon the anticipated site hazards, personal protective equipment limitation of the material of the construction limitations during the temperature extreme, the heat travel, and other appropriate medical consideration, UV limitation, respirator aid or equipment, as well as documentation. Procedure outlined in Title 29 CFR 1910-134 personal protective equipment inspection procedure prior, during, after personal protective equipment donning and doffing procedure the personal protective equipment decontamination disposal procedure personal protective equipment maintenance storage hazard variation related with the personal protective equipment limitations. The employer should instruct the employee with the type medical surveillance program relative to the particular site include site medical surveillance program having adapted for the site with the size of the symptoms the related with the exposure hazard material on the site the frequency the extent of the period of medical examination will be used on site maintenance of the availability with records, personal contact and procedure filed with the time the symptoms and exposures are recognized. The employees with a review that discover the site safety with the power of the training with the program location and site safety plan with the all written program should be discovered. The employee would include the discussion mechanism and access review with the reference described. B. Resource recovery, conservation recovery, resource conservation recovery act operation training of the for the treatment storage disposal facilities. As a minimum of the training course required in Title 29 CFR 1910-120P, which should include the following tab of the review the applicable paragraph of the Title 29 CFR 1910-120 with the elements of the employee with the occupational safety health plan, relevant review of the relevant hazards that not limited with the chemical, biological, radiological exposure for the fire explosion hazards, thermal extreme and physical hazards. General safety hazards include the associated with electrical hazard, the power of the equipment, the hazard, the lockout, without perceiving the motor vehicle with the hazard, walking, work, surface have the conveyance space the hazard, perceive the walking practice to minimize the employee with the risk of work, have the emergency response plan with the procedure that include the first aid me with the requirement of the paragraph B8, a review of the procedure minimize the exposure of the hazard with various type of the waste stream with the include the material of the handling program with the spill contamination program with the review of the hazard communication program need of the requirement of Title 29 CFR 1910 11200 review of the medical surveillance program CME with the requirement of Title 29 CFR 1910 120P3 with include the recognition of the symptoms of exposure have the substance that include but not synergic interaction. The review of the decontamination program proceed with the with the requirements of Title 29 CFR 1910 120P4. K. Review of the employer's requirements to implement the training program if its elements. 1. Review of the criteria program with the proper selection of the personal protective equipment including the respirators. And review of the applicable appendix to Title 29 CFR 1910 120 the principle of the toxicological biological monitoring of the pertaining the occupational health. The rights and responsibility of the employee with the employers to honor the OSHA and the EPA laws. Handle the demonstrating competency the equipment that illustrate the basic equipment principle that may be used during the performance of work duties, including donating and adopting the personal protective equipment. The sort of the reference of the FNs efficient use of the relevant manuals knowledge of the hazard coding system would include the information contained with the hazardous waste manifest, at least 8 hours of hands-on training of the job skills required by the employee job function, the responsibility to perform the permitted with the participation supervisor field activities. The individual employer should provide with the hazardous waste employed with the information training prior to the employee's initiation assignment of the work area training with the information should cover the following topics. The emergency response plan with the procedure should include the first aid of the review of the employer's habit of the race of the handling procedure would include with the managed materials handling program elements of the spill contamination program, location of the spill response kit, the equipment, and the names of the loads drained to respond to the release. Alright, the hazard of the communication program, even the requirement of the Title 29 CFR 1910-1200. Alright, review of the employer's medical surveillance program, include with the recognition signs of the symptoms of exposure to the relevant habit of the substance, including non-synergistic interaction. Review of the employer decontamination program, proceed with the review of the employer program for the party with the responsibility with the program, review the employee personal protective equipment program, include with the proper selection, use of personal protective equipment based on the specific site have of the relevant site, specific have addressing potential safety health hazard, include with the appropriate biological, radiological exposure for air explosion, have the thermal, have the physical, have the electronic hazard, the powered equipment, have the lockout, tagout hazard, motor vehicle, have the walking, working, surface hazards. Save the use of the engineering control of the equipment outside of the name of the personal alternative, the responsibility safety of the and health emergency response training. Federal OSHA standard Title 29 CFR 1910-120 keep the directive of the tour of the private sector emergency response, therefore with the guideline provided the portion of pending for the as directed to the employee of the population, however they implement impacted indirectly state with the OSHA U.S. Environmental Protection Agency regulations. Some of this public sector emergency response, therefore guidelines provided within this portion of the appendix may be applied with both the employee populations. State of the OSHA state plan with must cover the employee with the regulation, leave it effect with the federal OSHA stand with the public employee within the state with the approve of the OSHA programs covering the hazardous waste operation emergency response, or cover the USA Environmental Protection Agency under Title 240 CFR 3311, the regulation virtually identical to 1910-120. Since there is no non-mandatory appendix, there is no no enforceable standard of the OSHA recommendation for these employers employed with the volunteer public service emergency response organization outside of the federal OSHA jurisdiction, considering the following criteria: developing their own training program, the unified approach for the training with community level between the emergency response organization cover the federal OSHA, that do not cover directly with the federal OSHA, can help ensure the effective community response to release potential relief that hazardous substance into the community. General consideration: emergency response organization required with the top of the list for the 1910-120 Q6 for the emergency response organization may some of all of the following topics supplement with the mandatory topic. Developing the response training with the program made the top of the required with the interaction between the response provider, individual responsible for the side of the response would be expected. The hazard recognition include with the nature of the hazard substance present with the particular application of the hazard recognition, including presentation, biological, chemistry, and physical, with the principles of the toxicological, biological monitoring, risk assessment, safe working practice, general site safety. Engineer control have the waste operation site safety plan with the standard operation procedure, decontamination procedure, the practices. 7. The emergency procedure first aid with the self-rescue. 8. Safety use of the field equipment, storage, and handling use of the transportation hazard substance. Use and care limitation, personal protective equipment. 11. Safety sampling, the techniques should have the right responsibility employed with the under order OSHA that is related with the concern with the right to know safety and health of the compensation liability. 13. Medical monitoring requirements. 14. Community relations. Be suggested criteria for the specific course. First responder awareness level of review that demonstrate the the performing the Apple's wheels of Title 29 CFR 1910-120Q, and experience you with the Department of Transportation Emergency Response Guidebook with familiarization with OSHA Standard 29 CFR 1910-1201. Review the principal practice of the analyze of the incident, determine both of the hazards of the present with the basic habit of the response information, each of the hazards present, substance present. Review the procedure of the implementing action. The local emergency response plan organization stand with the operating procedure with the current in addition with the DOS emergency response guide, including with the emergency notification procedure, the following of the communication review the expected to have the include with the fire and explosion, have the confined with the space, have the electrical, have the powered equipment, with the hazard motor vehicle, they have the walking works of the surface, have the awareness knowledge of the competency with the first responder, the awareness level to cover the National Fire Protection Agency Association Standard 472 with the professional competency with the responder with the hazard material with the incident with the first responder operation and review with the demonstration with the competency of the performing applicable skill with the Title 29 CFR 1910-120Q, hence experience with the Department of Transportation Emergency Response Guidebook manufactured for the safety data sheet with the chemical truck with the K in Canada UTEC shape of the manufacturer contact with the other relevant sort of the information draft that has substance for the release of the familiar OSHA standard Title 29 CFR 1910-11201. Review the principle of practice analyze the incident they have the substance present, likely the behavior they have in substance and container type they have the substance transport containing the vehicle, the tips of the selection, appropriate definition, defensive strategy containing the relief, the review of the procedure, implementing, continuing response action, consistent local emergency response plan, organization standard operation procedure with the current date, addition of the DOTS emergency response guide, including consent with the emergency notification procedure, the file of the notification, review of the principal practice, the proper selection, review of the personal protective equipment, review of the principal of the practice, personal equipment decontamination. Alright, G, the review of the hazard include the fire and explosion, have the confined with the space for the have the electrical, have the powered equipment, have the motor vehicle, to have the wall working, sort of have the awareness of the knowledge of the competency of the first responder, the operation level, the consider the National Fire Protection Association Standard 472, professional competency responder, has a material incident, has a material technician review the demonstrator of the competency of the performing the applicable skill of the Title 29 CFR 1910-120Q, hands-on experience with the written with the electronic information relative to the making the response decision, included the limited of the U.S. Department of Transportation Emergency Response Guide, manufacturer material safety dash sheet over the contract of the Canadian UTEC of the shipper, the manufacturer of the context computer database, so that the responsible for the other relevant source of the information addressing hazardous substances. Release of the familiarization OSHA standard with the 29 CFR 1910-1201. Review the principle of practice of the analyzing incident determine the hazardous substance present, the physical, chemical, property, likely behavior of the hazardous substance of the incident containing hazardous substance transport with the contained vehicle involved with the release of the appropriate strategy for the approaching relief of the site and staying with the release. Review the procedure for the implementing continuing response to the actions consistent with the local emergency response plan, organization standard operation procedure for the current the emergency response guide, with include the exam of the emergency notification procedure, the follow-up of the communication, review the principal practice of the proper selection of the personal protective equipment, review the principle of the practice of establishing exposure zone threat, proper decontamination, medical service stations and procedures, review the expected habits including fire explosion hazards and confined with space of electrical hazard powered equipment, hazard of the motor vehicle hazard of the walking, working surface hazards, awareness and knowledge of the competency of the hazard motor vehicle hazards material technology covered in the National Fire Protection Association, the standard number 472, the professional competency responding with the hazard material incident. For hazard material special review, the demonstrator of the competency of the performing the applicable bills, Title 29 CFR 1910-120Q, with the hands-on experience with the retrieval of the written electronic information relative to the response decision, included not limited to U.S. Department of Transportation Emergency Response Guide, the book, manufacturer safety data sheet, criminal trick can use text chip of the manufacturer context computer database, the relief of the model for the other relevant source of the information in addressing the hazards of the relief, the familiarization OSHA stand 29 CFR 1910-1201. Alright, review of the principle of the practice of the analyze the incident, determine the hazardous substance, the physical, chemical properties likely to behave with the hazardous substance for the contained vessel in the vehicle, review of the principle of the practice of the identification type of the head of the transportation substance contained with the vessel of the vehicles involved with the release, and selecting the use of the various type of equipment available, the plunging and patching transportation vehicle, the vehicle organization directing the use of the multiple team have the material of the technicians like for the appropriate strategy, the approaching the release site with the containing the stopping of the release, review of the procedure, the implementing continuing response to the concept with the local emergency response plan, the organization of the operating procedure, they include the knowledge available to the public private sector response source over the establishment of the incident with the command post, the direction hazard material technician team for the estimated extended emergency notification procedure, follow up the communication, review of the principle of the the proper selection, use of the personal protective equipment, review of the principal practice of the establishing exposure of the proper decontamination, monitoring with the mental surveillance station procedures. Review the expected have the include the fire explosion, have the confinement space, have the electrical, have the powered equipment, have the motor vehicle, have the walking, working surface, have the awareness and knowledge of the competency of the outside special list of employee with the covered in the National Fire Protection Association number 472, the professional competency of the responder hazard materials incident command for the incident commander is the individual who, at any time, will be responsible for the control of the response after the individual response person responsible for the direction of the coordination response after the incident commander position should be occupied most senior with the appropriate trained with the individual present with the response with the yet necessary appropriately level of the response with the position must be occupied the individuals during the particular response with the neither for greater with the authority of the responsibility trained with the increase of the possibility of the responding awareness level of the stream. The due of the incident with the commander, you will must more senior with the appropriate training with the individual arrive at the response site. Their emergency response with expect with the performance instinct commander should be trained with the full with the obligation of the position and level of responsibility to provide, including found with the ability to analyze the hazardous material substance incident to determine the magnitude of the response problem, the ability of the plan to implement with the appropriate response plan with the capability of available personnel equipment. C. Applicability to implement the response with the favorability with the outcome of the incident the main or consistent local emergency response plan with the organization standard operation procedures. The ability to evaluate the progress of the emergency procedure, evaluate the response object with the must be safely effective efficiency. adjust the response with the condition of the response, but notify the higher level of the response required with the chain of the response. And then let's just go over this real quick. It was 1910-121 was reserved for dipping and coating operations. All the rest I'm not going to do. That completes this reading of, or my file of 1910-120 hazardous waste operation emergency response.